sun.
Hey there, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy Heroes video. I'm Zuko.
And I'm Exum.
And this is
The High Ground.
Alright guys, so today we're going to be doing the third installment of the series we created called
Do They Make Sense?
Do They Make Sense? So this is when we take a character in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes and we compare it to the character from what we see in the movies or what we see in the books or what we see in the TV shows. And this is when we compare to see how well and how good of a job CG did when they created this character. How much did they really think about this character's abilities? You know, what makes this character unique in Star Wars? And really, how do they represent this character in the movies? So today, we're going to be doing a character that, like we said,
got the most likes.
It got the most likes in the comment section.
Video.
It is somebody that, you know, like we said, we wanted it to be your guys' choice to let us know who you wanted to see next. And it was close between a couple different characters, but this guy came out on top. This character is...
Far when ready.
So, Grand Moff Tarkin. Grand Moff Tarkin is a support character in this game. He is a leader for the Empire, and his kid, you know, he's got some really cool things going on. He's very well known and very well respected in the Star Wars lore, you know, for what he did for the Empire. So let's get into this checklist that we have here.
Yeah, so the first thing we have is character appearance. And with character appearance, you know, his size on the battlefield, it's perfect size. The character outfit is dead on, and especially like his facial appearance. I could argue that it's pretty much what you see in Rogue One. Like, yeah. It's really good the way they did Grand Moff Tarkin.
Probably one of the best ones.
Yeah,
in the
his
whole
character
game.
appearance is spot on. Definitely. And then we got power crossover.
Power crossover.
So what do you think about him?
All right, so is this character too strong in the game? I think he's amazing in the correct lineup with a Palpatine lead. We've seen that, even him as a leader for the Empire. But I really do think that he's undersold and underrepresented in the game. I think that
just a little bit.
Yeah, I think he can be even better as a tactician. And if you really think about, let's talk about Grand Moff Tarkin. Let's talk about him in the Star Wars universe. Okay, he was second. Well, yes, he was second in command to Emperor Palpatine in the sense
on the
of,
Empire side.
Exactly, on the Empire side. Then of course you had Darth Vader, who was, you know, his right hand man, of course. But this guy really was. He was the first ever Grand Moff. He was the leader. He's the one who directed the Death Star. You know, so he had a lot of responsibility. He had a lot of trust from Palpatine.
A lot of respect from him.
Exactly.
Dating back to the days back in the Clone Wars where Palpatine kind of handpicked him and helped
groomed him, exactly.
Groom him and helped him go up the standings and until he became a governor. And then from a governor, when the Empire began, he was like one of the first people to,
a politician there.
Yeah, to go and work with Palpatine.
Exactly. And the fact that, you know, Palpatine created a position just for him so that he can, you know, preside over everybody else, being a Grand Moff, it means something. He trusted Palpatine. When the whole thing went down with the Jedi and the Republic and all that stuff, after Episode 3, he trusted Palpatine, and that is a reason that he, you know, was able to get into that standing he was with the Empire. So you're talking about somebody who had a lot of responsibility, who was a really well-known and very feared person in the Empire. So I think that they could have made him just a bit stronger. His second move, the Ultimate Firepower, I know this is another part of the checklist, but Ultimate Firepower, I mean, it's awesome when you think about it because, as Exum alluded to me earlier, he's known as someone who, you know, what was it?
He had a merciless raid on a planet.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name right now, but literally what he did was that entire attack. It didn't matter if you were against him or on his side. He literally went into that planet and just bombarded the planet with ultimate firepower pretty much. So I think it's a good representation of that move, but we think he's a little more iconic with a different, you know, attack from a ship.
100%.
Maybe the Death Star.
Exactly.
So maybe it could be that instead, but the ultimate firepower doesn't bother us as much, which we'll get into.
It's a really good, his kit makes a lot of sense. We'll get into that later, but is he too strong in the game? No, we think he could use a little bit more power just to be the formidable opponent he really was. Maybe make his kit a little bit more of a support, make him a cleanser. We were talking about that. Make him really, really buff the heck out of everybody around.
We want him to be really tactical and someone to compare him with. We think he should be on the standing of or behind or above is Thrawn, but like remotely close to how Grand Admiral Thrawn, his importance to this game is. We think Grand Moff Tarkin should definitely be just around there.
Yeah, when you think about it, you know, Thrawn was, yes, he was incredible, and you see that in Rebels, but I mean, he was not second in command to Palpatine. Palpatine trusted everything with Grand Moff Tarkin. So I feel like Grand Moff Tarkin, in my opinion, should be a little bit, I think he should be stronger and a step above Grand Admiral Thrawn. So I do think that they could have done that a little bit better. But other than that, he's, like we said, a little bit stronger.
Yeah,
he could be.
He's not too weak either. Like, it's
in
not
the
like,
right teams,
yeah,
works.
like if you put him in the right teams, he works. Also, his stats in the game are like in the middle, so like he's pretty decent. He's pretty good. I don't think he should be special in anything. Just like Han Solo, we talked about how his damage is a little too much for what he is. So we don't think he should be too much. So they did a good job with him for the most part. So the next thing we have is the synergy. So should they have synergies with certain characters? We kind of talked about it, and there shouldn't be anything like super direct in the way of like Wigs or Chase, but it'd be kind of cool if they're kind of were like their own little trio: Darth Vader, Palpatine, and Grand Moff, because they were the big three of the Empire for the majority of it. Yeah. And so it'd be great if maybe like when they're all on the field, they got like a little buff, like maybe like offense up for the three of them or something like that. Because a little bit of synergy is nice. It's something we're big fans of in this game. You know, any kind of synergy that you can get between, characters. So we really think that they could add something like that.
And I think that's something that's, to piggyback off of that's really important to note is that you see Vader actually taking commands from Grand Moff Tarkin in episode 4. And then in episode 5 and 6, you see him basically killing other generals in the Empire. Like, if it's nothing, he force chokes them, he disrespects them, because to him, they're beneath him. But if you notice, the only person that he actually respected that was not Palpatine was Grand Moff Tarkin. So they had a mutual respect ever since back in the Clone Wars when Anakin and him exactly had that respect about Anakin believing and Grand Moff Tarkin believing that the Jedi needed to be a little bit more willing to be extreme to get things done. So they had that connection, and the fact that he trusted in Palpatine so much, and Palpatine in him, and then of course Vader being part of that, it definitely makes sense for them to be like the Holy Trinity instead of like JTR, R2, and BB-8, maybe something like that with them, where they have that kind of synergy.
And not to this extreme, but it's also another example of like a trinity within a faction is, the Sith triumvirate.
Exactly, something like that. So it doesn't need to be that big, but it could be something along those lines. To us, it makes a lot of sense. So let's move on to, does the kit make sense? So let's start off with the basic, which is Grand Moff's attack. Simple. All it reads is, if you damage one target, this attack deals 10% more damage for each living ally. Target gains 50% potency stacking until the end of the ultimate firepower is used. So this is good. It's just a basic ability. Just do some damage. I mean, you don't really see Grand Moff Tarkin shoot that much unless it was the Clone Wars. You see him do it in the Clone Wars. So you don't see a lot other than that. So this is fine. It's cool for him to have that ability.
It's very generic.
It's very generic.
And at least I think something I like about their kit is they decided to go with potency
on him. Exactly.
And where it comes from, that's hard to say, but that they consistently kept it throughout his kit and kept it important to his kit.
I think it helps him to inflict damage because that's what he is. He's like that guy above that helps everybody, the whole Empire, like succeed. So his next one, which is his first special, is Ultimate Firepower. This is great. Like Exum alluded to earlier, he bombarded an entire planet, destroyed them, and that's really where he got people to fear him. Yeah. He didn't care. He didn't care if you were on his side or against him. If you were in his way, he was going to wreck you.
Yeah, this literally happened as soon as the Empire, as Palpatine was coming into power. So it was actually something that kind of took Palpatine aback. And he was like, I can't throw him under the bus because he's super loyal to me. So he kind of had to protect him while Palpatine was dealing with the courts.
Exactly.
But it was the first big, massive display of cruelty and power from Moff Tarkin. And it really, gave him that reputation going forward.
It's a great move. It kind of shows you he commands everything up top. So it's cool that he's able to call in the ships to help him out. So the next one is Intimidation Tactics. This is a great one. Again, talking about gaining potency up to help maybe Vader. Maybe he's helping Palpatine. That's what he's doing. This is another one where you're giving offense up for 3 turns on all enemies. Rebel enemies can't resist these debuffs. Then gain 50% turn meter for each debuffed enemy. It's just a great way of him showing his tactical awareness and his tactical abilities and exploiting his enemies.
Yeah, I love the name of it, Intimidation Tactics. Again, it goes with his reputation of being one of the most feared guys in the Empire. So I'm a big fan of that one. Yeah. All these, as we'll continue, you see that we kind of like what they did with his kit. We just think it could have been a little bit better.
Yeah,
and we would have liked it to be... we disagree on this, but I would have liked maybe like a Hermit Yoda, someone who doesn't attack, but maybe he calls others to attack for him. Very, very tactician is what I would have liked from him. Similar to, Thrawn has a very tactical kit to him. So I would have liked something like that, but it's a pretty good kit.
I agree. I think they could. I think they can give him another rework. Try to make him a little bit better, just to stack up with Thrawn. I think that he should be up in the level or above Thrawn. Tighten the Grip is his leadership ability. Fantastic name to that ability. I love what it reads. It really is helping all of his Empire allies and hurting any rebel or any enemy that he's facing. It's a great one. He tightened the grip on the Empire. He tightened the grip on the entire world in the way that he went about his business. Whether he was in a ship or whether he was commanding the Death Star, he was just known as that type of person. And then Callous Conviction. This is great. He gains defense up, his potency percentage, and 20% potency per debuffed enemy.
I think here is probably his weakest thing in his kit, and if this was buffed or changed to something else, he could be a much more effective character in the game.
Especially because it's a Zeta.
Yeah, I love the Callous Conviction. It talks about Callous means cruelty. So it's about how cruel he is and how convicted he knows what he's doing.
Think about what he did with Leia.
Exactly.
When he blew up
Alderaan. Yeah. So Grand Moff Tarkin, he gains defense and potency. There could be something more. It's very about him, and maybe it should be about his allies, because he is the Grand Moff of the Empire. So he should maybe be buffing or doing something in that unique. That's the one that for me kind of just sticks out.
Yeah, I agree. And then our last one is missing trademarks. He's got his capital ship. Definitely got that. The only thing is that we spoke about is that maybe he could have something, because we spoke about the fact that Grand Admiral Thrawn has his ability where he can destroy any ship on the opposite side, and we get it. He was very tactical, and he was really known as a leader of the Navy and all that stuff. Yeah. But how fitting would it be for Grand Moff Tarkin to have an ability where he kind of like points, and you look and the Death Star appears and shoots and destroys another one of the ships? I mean, he was the commander of the Death Star. Why shouldn't he have that ability to destroy a ship immediately? So we think that his ship was missing a trademark, which
I think, I think the trademark itself is that, that starts his baby. That's kind of where he works from and everything. And he worked towards this, he even took it away from Krennic. He really cared about this project.
He died in it.
Yeah, so he died in it, exactly. So the Death Star should have been incorporated maybe somewhere in his kit. So whether it be replacing ultimate firepower and, instead of it's like a bunch of, it looks like lasers, but it's just a rain down of, bullet, whatever it is. It could have been, one Death Star attack on a character or something like that.
It could have looked kind of like, it could have looked Veers when he does his, I agree 100%. That's actually a really good point. That somewhere in his kit, whether it be the ship, which I feel like it would have made a lot of sense, whether it would have been just in his ultimate firepower, make it, shoot down a thing and kill somebody automatically or so. I don't know. It might make it too strong, but it would have been cool to see them incorporate the Death Star in some way. Again,
and he's a very good capital ship. So they did him well there. The Imperial Assault Attack, when you get to launch all the TIE fighters on somebody, that's almost like the end of the battle right there. He's a really well done character for the most part here, and
I think he really is. And in the past two characters, we've kind of come to the conclusion that they weren't very well represented in the way that they should have been, especially in Mace Windu. Mace Windu grossly underrepresented. But I think that if we're having a verdict on Grand Moff Tarkin in this one, I think he's definitely very well done in this game. I think that they paid attention. They paid attention to his abilities. They paid attention to his character in and of itself and what exactly he was.
Yeah, what he represents.
Exactly. I think they could have made him a little bit better, because if you're going to introduce, because if you're going to introduce somebody like Thrawn, that is so amazing, which he should be, because Thrawn is a fan favorite, love him to death. He's an awesome, awesome character. I think Grand Moff Tarkin should have that type of standing as well.
Yeah.
Just because he was so well known in the Empire.
He should be a character that if you're building an Empire squad, you're going to want him for sure. Yeah. And yes, if you're building an Empire squad, you're going to use him, but there's a debate. You're always going to debate.
You could take him out.
Could you take him out and put someone else in? I want it, we think it should be that there should not be a debate. Him, Palpatine, and Vader together.
How cool would that be if you had that triumvirate of them three? I think that the Empire triumvirate. Yeah. That's really cool. It makes a lot of sense for Vader to respect you, and you didn't have Force abilities, and Vader respected you. That meant something. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because Vader obviously didn't care about anybody. Yeah. He really didn't even like Palpatine. Yeah. So that's really important. I think we come to the conclusion Grand Moff Tarkin's an awesome character in Star Wars. He's pretty darn good in this game. Could have been a little bit better, but overall, a great character.
So, would you say he makes sense?
I would say he makes sense.
He makes sense. All right, cool.
All right, guys.
So that's this episode for Do They Make Sense? Again, leave your comments down below
Please
on who you want to see next, and make sure to like other people's comments to see, you know, we don't want everybody to have like 3 to 5 likes. You know, if one character could stand out, it'd be easier to this. We don't want it to be left up to us choosing.
Yeah.
We want it to be left up to you guys choosing.
This was, like we said, the most liked character, but there were other ones that were close up. Like very close. It was a very close race, guys. If you can, make sure to like and make sure to comment who you would like to see. And for those of you who did in the last video, we will not be throwing out those characters that you guys chose. No, those characters will be coming soon. We just want to make sure that whichever one the majority wants to see, that's one we're going to introduce first.
Yes.
But we love the characters that you guys, you know, suggested. What was Maul? There was Anakin in there.
Yeah.
SWGOH. We got your request, and we will be fulfilling those. Please, if you want to keep seeing them, comment it down. You never know if people go and like it now.
Yeah.
So
guys, thank you so much. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Well, it's kind of a rough week because we'll be going out of town, but we're trying to put out content. So we'll see you guys on the next one. This is The High Ground. Peace out, guys.
It's over, Anakin. I have the high ground. You underestimate my power.
So the question for today's video is going to be, if they had stayed in Emperor Palpatine's office, who would have won? Yoda or Palpatine? Remember, guys, comment down below with the answer. Let us know who you think is going to win, who you think would have won that fight. If you want, give us a brief explanation. My personal opinion, Yoda would have won because Yoda's amazing. But go ahead and leave us your answers down below. Remember that for the next 5 videos, we're going to be taking these questions. Anybody that's going to be answering these questions in the comments, we're going to put all the names together. And we're going to raffle off, of course, we told you in the last video, which is going to be one of the High Ground shirts. So, let us know, guys.
Thank you guys so much. All right.